Getting a look at tonight's starting lineups for the Edmonton Oilers, and they'll go with Olivier Rodriguez, I mentioned, in net. He came in mop-up duty last night in the 9-1 defeat of the Nate McEwen All-Stars. Rodriguez just faced 4 shots in that third period, stopped 3 of them. He played for Drummondville the last 2 seasons with a .903 save percentage last year. Kyler Yamamoto returns to the lineup up front with Ryan McLeod, who had an excellent game last night, narrowly missed a hat trick, and Dave Gus. That's your opening line for the Oilers with Jake Kulovich and William Lagesson on defense. Your starting lineup brought to you by Coventry Homes, the preferred builder of the Edmonton Oilers. Find out why fans live here at coventry-homes.com.
We'll go to the Ford Keys to the game, brought to you by our Alberta Ford dealers, home of the F-Series trucks, Canada's best-selling line of trucks for 52 years. Oilers got to get to Parsons if they can. He was stellar the other night, and they need some stops at their own end and an opportunity for some guys to showcase themselves tonight here at the NMAX Centrium.
Ryan McLeod will take the center ice draw. Calgary, in addition to Parsons, who, like Rodriguez, a second-round pick. He was drafted 2 years ago in 2016. They'll counter with Brett Pollock, the one-time Edmonton Oil King, up front with Matthew Phillips and Glenn Gaudin, and Josh Healy, along with Braden Pahal, to start on defense. And we're underway with the Flames controlling the opening draw and working it down deep. The puck flipped out to Matthew Phillips in the high slot now, and he's got it patrolled by William Lagesson behind the net for Glenn Gaudin. Banked it off the wall out to the point, and a rather conservative Josh Healy will back off, making sure Edmonton doesn't have a chance for a counterattack. And eventually the puck funneled back toward the Edmonton blue line and sent ahead by Kulovich. In over the line is McLeod. Multi-point night last night. Lets a shot fly, redirected off the boards, and Yamamoto with a swing and a miss at a loose puck in front of Tyler Parsons. It comes the other way instead to Dubé. Centering pass and a one-timer, and I think Rodriguez might have gotten a piece of that one, or it was just flipped wide. What a chance for Calgary early, and Brett Pollock, who scored in the Flames' 7-3 win on Sunday, not once but twice, had that scoring chance early in this one. Oilers bang it in deep, and going to work on the forecheck is Cameron Hebig. Gambardella in hot pursuit as well, as Calgary looks to contain, and it's played up the right-hand glass and knocked out of play by Tyler Vessel. We'll have a face-off just outside the Calgary blue line, but what a look by Dylan Dubé, who you can make an argument was the Flames' best player on Sunday, and a nice setup to Brett Pollock.
Yeah, Dylan Dubé played the last couple of years for Jason Smith, and Kelowna won a World Junior Championship. Should the Oilers win tonight, valid for tomorrow only. Anybody that mentions the phrase Battle of Alberta receives a free piece of chicken at the Popeyes, the Louisiana Kitchen locations in Edmonton and Sherwood Park. That phrase again, Battle of Alberta.
Off the face-off and working down low against Adam Olis-Mattsson was Nolan Vesey, and it comes up the right-hand side, and the Oiler rookies look to get started here, but Maximoff can't play a puck loose in the high slot, and it's eventually chipped out to Jordan Ernst, and he'll send it in deep for Calgary. Samorukov takes a hard hit for the Oiler rookies, and Adam Ruzicka follows up on the forecheck, but Samorukov able to reverse and work it out with the help from Vesey. Too strong, though, on the puck was Vesey, and that will be an icing call whistled against Edmonton. We've played 1 minute 52 seconds. Calgary, unlike Edmonton, did not play a middle game. They're just going to play the home and home, if you will, with Edmonton for their rookie camp, this being the Oilers' third game, the 7-3 loss to Calgary on Sunday, followed by the 9-1 defeat of Nate McEwen last night at Rogers Place. Off the draw, back in the Edmonton zone, it's Jared Wilson. Had a nice fight the other night at the Saddle Dome, and a solid all-around game as well. Clears up the right-hand side. Puck popped out of play from Zach Fisher up into the second row. Again, this NMAX Centrium, home to the Red Deer Rebels, and of course, the home to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for so many years. Nugent-Hopkins had a 100-point campaign in this place, built in 1991. Capacity 7111 for hockey, 7819 for concerts. And off the draw, it's tracked and controlled by Milos Roman of Calgary, who has the puck at center ice now. Takes a hard hit from Ryan Van Stralen. Both went down on that one. And now a lead pass for Poli, also a 4-year Red Deer Rebel. Got a shot off and a save made by Parsons. Lost the stick, but not control the puck as it was cleared by Zach Fisher of Calgary. Back to get it is Kulovich, and he'll send it over over to Evan Poli, and the Oilers attacking from right to left enter the offensive zone. Von Stralen trying to follow it up, but it's played quickly, and a big hit on Pahal, who's going to captain Prince Albert this year. He's shaken up, and Poli finished that check, and you can bet Pahal's feeling. Down the left-hand side is Matthew Phillips. He was drilled by Yamamoto. Two Flames went after him and collided with one another, and in fact, we're going to have a penalty called against Calgary. Dave Gust has the puck for Edmonton, and in this delayed penalty situation, it's Crevier Morin who's controlling for the Oilers in his own zone. 3 1/4 gone by in the scoreless first period. Edmonton will get a power play momentarily. Ethan Bear hits the line, drops it off, and now we'll have an offside call, and the penalty will go into effect. Edmonton scored twice on the power play last night in that 9-1 thrashing, and now they get their first opportunity here at 3:23. But that was created a little bit by the initial hit from Poli, and then at the other end, Yamamoto with an impressive check.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pahal getting hit on the play, and there's been 2 generations of Pahal prominent players. Vern Pahal's the all-time leading Golden Bear point getter in single season.
Number 80,
and Clayton Pahal played for Boston and Colorado in the National Hockey League.
Off the draw, Ethan Bear over to Yamamoto, swings it down low. Quick one-timer taken by Vessel on a setup from McLeod, but it was blocked, and the Flames drill it down the right-hand side.
How many opportunities has Tyler Vessel had over the course of these 3 rookie games?
Finally scored late last night in the win over Nate McEwen at Rogers Place. McLeod comes in over the line, had the puck knocked off his stick. Gus was able to regroup to Bear, and now Vessel took a hard shot, drop past McLeod. His shot redirected over the net and tracked down in the corner by Gust, the product of Ohio State. Out to the point, Yamamoto. He'll swing it over to Bear, and now Gust loading up left circle, back door, and it was there, but he just missed McLeod. Yamamoto takes it off the right half boards to Bear on the high slot. Left circle, it's Dave Gust. Minute 5 on the Atco power play, with McLeod controlling down low in the right corner for the Oilers. Yamamoto had it knocked off his stick, and that was fired length of the ice by Calgary, and line changes coming for both squads. The clear on the play delivered by Josh Healy.
Already more jump today than there was on Sunday afternoon for Tyler Yamamoto, Jack.
Poli driving in from the left-hand side, knocked off the puck. Lagesson briefly held it in. And part of that, I think, has to do with Yamamoto landing the big hit early in this game. That'll get you into the game. Gaudin is in the box for Edmonton for another 30 seconds, but unable to control the puck coming over the line is Maximoff, and it's another length of the ice clear for the Flames. Played by Rodrigue up the left-hand side. Hebig breaks loose with Maximoff on his right, takes a shot through a screen, and that surprised Parsons, but despite that puck getting in on him, he was able to grab it right near his left wrist and freeze it for a face-off to his right with 16 seconds left on this Oiler power play. 14:53 to go in our first period.
Evan Poli, homecoming for him, played the 2016 Memorial Cup, won by the London Knights.
And Tyler Parsons.
Yes.
Off the draw, here's Luke Esposito, left corner. Blew a wheel, fell down, held in by Kulovich, and the Oiler defenseman takes a shot that was blocked. Got it back, threw it in the high slot for Colin Larkin, backhander Esposito, and that puck didn't get to the net either. Flames able to clear, and that'll do it for the power play. Both Larkin and Esposito scored in last night's win at Rogers. Lead pass left wing, here's Nolan Vesey ahead for Luke Esposito, the nephew of Mark Messier. Spun down top of the circle. He'll send it down low for Colin Larkin. Now it's Vesey. Larkin centering pass, and that was redirected just wide. Loose left corner, Samorukov. This is really a line of guys who have ties to the NHL and different facets. I mentioned Esposito. Nolan Vesey's older brother is Jimmy Vesey. And now out to the point. Here's Samorukov, top of the left circle. Lets a shot go. That was blocked, and the Flames were able to carry it up ice. Right-hand side and eventually bang down low. And, of course, Colin Larkin, Bob, as you know, the older brother of Dylan Larkin of the Detroit Red Wings, as the Flames watch a clear from Von Stralen, getting it back to center. Eventually tracked by Gambardella. He'll send it over to Van Stralen, and he'll bring it to center ice. But advance no further as Adam Olis-Mattsson is able to shovel it in deep. After the puck is Elise, the German Olympian from last year, ran into his own guy, and Tyler Vessel was able to come over, control the puck, and send it over to Dmitry Samorukov. Up to center ice, turned it over at the Calgary line. Olis Matson will go rink wide, and it's played by Valimaki up the left-hand side. That's broken up by Yamamoto, and the Oilers will go on the counter right to left. Yamamoto creates a 2-on-1. In over the line, centering pass, and that hopped over the stick of Gust, who's tracked immediately by Roman. Cut back inside, quick shot, save made by Parsons. Rebound save. Yamamoto took another shot, save made by Parsons. He's flailing around at it, and finally gaining control of the puck is Yacine Elise. A little too nonchalant with a clear, didn't get it done. Yamamoto was driven to the blue line, and finally Ethan Bear has to come over to gain control and bring it back to center. Down the seam is McLeod. Beautiful move, cuts inside, wrist shot, flipped it wide. He had Parsons down and out. Wild, sharp angle shot, Yamamoto. Another save by Parsons, and eventually it's taken and cleared up the left-hand side by Mike McMurtry of Calgary, and the Flames will just launch it down the ice for an icing call, but they needed to alleviate the pressure. Juuso Valimaki, their first-round selection a year ago, recognized that fact, and Calgary extremely fortunate not to be trailing in this game again as he was on Sunday. Tyler Parsons has been the difference. He stopped 6 shots while Rodrigue has just 1 save at the other end for Edmonton in a scoreless game.
Jack, the Oilers are playing with urgency and quickness, and they are jumping right now, and Ryan McLeod, he's got the type of speed that can separate.
Just did not finish on that last opportunity. Off the face-off, Kulovich had his shot blocked, got it back, threw it toward the net, and that clipped off the plexiglass. Eventually cleared but not out by Rippon. And now from the right circle, an attempt by Hebig sails high and wide, clattered off the glass and chases Kulovich all the way back into his own zone. He'll send it up the right-hand side. Hebig makes sure to get it in deep. Igor Merezhkov, who had 2 bouts on Sunday. The first went well, the second did not. Send it ahead, right side to the net. Backhander score. What a move by Dmitry Zavgorodny, and he gives Calgary a 1-0 lead. Beautiful forehand dink that dragged it over to the backhand and tucked it home on Calgary's second shot on net in this hockey game.
Yeah, Samorukov gave up the outside angle, and Zavgorodny took it hard to the hole. This is a player that plays in Rimouski, where they've got a guy that's probably going to go number 1, maybe number 2. Coming up in the 2020 NHL draft, and Alexis Lafreniere. This Quinton Byfield out of Ontario is going to push for that spot. That Rimouski team is going to be really good. It was an elite level finish on an excellent drive.
And an excellent outlet pass from Igor Merezhkov.
Yep.
Freed him up, and Zavgorodny made no mistake, completely fooling Olivier Rodrigue. It's 1-0 Calgary. Time of the goal, 8:15. Zavgorodny from Merezhko, and it's 1-0. Phillips brings it in. Cross-ice pass broken up by Maximov. Shots are 6-2 in this game in favor of Edmonton, but it's 1-0 Calgary. Healy slide step to his left and lost control of the puck. It's Colin Larkin, the outlet to Maximov. One touch to Vesey. Tried to get it back, but the pass was off target, and Healy goes in deep.
Scored by number 78, Dmitry Zavgorodny. The
tries the right-hand side,
and number 90,
and
Igor.
this will be an icing call against Calgary. Give Dubé the second assist there, as Merezhko with the outlet, Zavgorodny the finish, and 1-0 Calgary with an icing call whistled against the Flames. We'll bring it back to the left of the Calgary net. Again, Cale McLean on the Calgary bench, Jay Woodcroft for Edmonton.
You know, when I was here for the Memorial Cup in 2016, you see Tyler Parsons play with London. It was like watching Grant Fuhr with the Oilers in the 80s. They were willing to trade chances because they had the guy that was going to stop the puck on those counter strikes for opposition teams.
And he's been excellent in the 2 games we've seen him this week. Sunday at the Saddle Dome, and tonight off to a great start here in Red Deer. Clear by the Flames off the draw. Ethan Bear back to collect. Crevier Morin up the middle for Esposito. Backhand pass over to Van Stralen. He'll send it over to Bear, and now Evan Poli right-hand side. Tried to duck his way around Juuso Valimaki. That did not pan out. It was played up the right wing boards, but held in by William Lagesson. Back behind, Van Stralen taken off his feet, works his way back into the play, threw it to the far side. Jordan Ernst protecting the boards and maintaining puck possession for Calgary to center, and Valimaki will shoot it in. Around the boards, Ruzicka wrapped up with Lagesson. Long shot taken from a tough angle that sailed wide. Olis Matson briefly held it in, eventually going to be cleared by Kulovich. Up the left-hand side for Dave Gus, taken off his feet by Salamaki, and it's whipped up the right-hand side. Juuso Valimaki Again, a first-round pick for the Calgary Flames in 2017. On the rush and taking a sharp angle shot was Ernst. That sailed off the corner boards and was turned over ultimately by Merrick Rippon. The other way comes Yamamoto. He runs into traffic in the form of a pair of Flames. Samorukov trying to support at center ice, knocked off his feet by Ruzicka, and it's cleared back in by Merezhko. Tracked down by Jared Wilson. Bank pass off the boards. There to protect on the far side was Rippon, and he stymied any sort of offensive thrust in the offing for the Oilers, who have to contain back in their own end. Turned over by Gambardella, and eventually swung back to center by Milos Roman as the game settles down here. 9:10 to play in the first period. 1-0 Calgary. On a break now, Cameron Hebig over the line, takes a shot, deflected out of play. With 9:03 to go in the first period, we have reached our first 70-second timeout. We'll be right back. Live coverage of the Oilers-Flames rookie game from Red Deer's ENMAX Centrium continues in just a moment on your home for Edmonton Oilers hockey. 6:30 CHED. Hey, at 8:15. Again, Dylan Dubé, probably Calgary's best player on Sunday, along with Tyler Parsons in the pipes, and Parsons has been good again in the first 11 minutes tonight. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you live from Red Deer. This is the final rookie game, and Bob and I will be back on the air Monday, 7 o'clock preseason game in Calgary against the Flames, and I'm sure we'll see a number of these players.
We will, because as you know, Jack, the majority of the Flames' top-end players are in China.
We're going to see basically the same team. I mean,
with the exception of 10 guys that have played NHL games.
Right.
Yes.
But I mean, there's not going to be a ton, and we've already, seen a few of those guys like Spencer Fu and Andrew Mangiapane, who are not dressed for Calgary tonight. They'll most certainly play on Monday in the preseason opener. So this is the rookie finale, and off the draw, Edmonton goes to work in the offensive zone. From the corner and battling hard, Van Stralen, and he's able to create right corner a second opportunity, but immediately taken away by Pahal, and it's cleared back to center. Hard hit by Esposito, flattened his man Roman, and that actually also created an offside call against Calgary because the puck went off Roman's stick and slithered its way into the zone where two Flames had already established concrete position. 8.5 to go first period, 1-0 Calgary.
Let's go to the Oilers injury report, brought to you by MIC, proud partner, official medical imaging provider to the Edmonton Oilers. Ostap Safin's a lone injured player. He's got a lower body issue, but some key scratches tonight. Evan Bouchard gets the night off, so does Cooper Marody. Obviously, Caleb Jones and Evan Bouchard playing great together and a pairing together. Tyler Benson and Cooper Marody. So two of the Oilers' top forwards and their best defense pairing so far, not in the lineup.
Off the draw, the Oilers come into the Calgary zone. Not a great deal of speed. The puck being worked along the left corner boards, and a hard hit by Crevier Morin. And we saw that in last night's game against Nate McEwen. The puck chipped by him. He tried to make a play with his right forearm. Dubé had it stripped by Ethan Bear, and the Oilers come the other way, right to left. Tossed in safely by Tyler Vessel. Back to get it. A big hit put on Zavgorodny in the corner. He's got the only goal for the Calgary Flames, the only goal of this game, and it's a breakout pass for Dubé. Walks in right circle, backdoor feed. Probably should have shot it. It was deflected, and it amounts to nothing. A delayed 3-on-1 there. Dubé's got the puck back, turned it over to Ethan Bear, and now it's Edmonton with a chance. But Bear missed Gambardella, who was at the end of his shift, and thus the Oilers will just have to settle for a line change. Flames back in their own zone, and it's Merrick Rippon playing the left-hand side. Lagesson stands his ground at center ice and allowed McLeod to play it back to his D pairing of Kulovich, and now Dave Gust takes control. Kulovich right-hand side for Yamamoto at center ice, absorbs a hard hit from Merrick Rippon, and now coming over to make the play on the puck is Merezhko. Staples his man in the corner. Yamamoto tries to get back in the mix with Glenn Gaudin draped all over him. 7 minutes to play in this first period. Shots are still 6-2 Oilers, but the Flames have the only goal on a backhand deke by Zavgorodny. Out to Lagesson. Wrist shot into a crowd, deflected away from Parsons. Rebound taken by Kulovich. Behind the net for Dave Gust on his backhand centered, and that was fired wide on a one-timer by Yamamoto. Here's Kulovich, tosses it back behind the net. Yamamoto, backhander, tried to catch Parsons napping, but he was ready, and the puck kicked out to the high slot, cleared by Brett Pollock, the one-time Edmonton Oil King. In from the right-hand side, overstriding the play was Phillips, and it was cleared by the Oilers, Dave Gust, and now Maximoff, long toss, speared by Parsons, and he'll squeeze it with 6:18 to go in this opening frame. The Oilers on the short end, trailing the Flames 1-0 here in Red Deer tonight. Of course, earlier, a luncheon was held over at the local Holiday Inn here in Red Deer, and Bob had a chance to hear from, among others, John Shannon of Sportsnet, Peter Chiarelli, Bob Nicholson, and Brent Sutter. No stranger to Red Deer, of course. He's the head coach and general manager of the Rebels.
Well, this is one of the top mid-sized CHL markets in hockey in Canada right now, and Brent's done a great job here in Red Deer.
Off the draw, right side of Tyler Parsons. Controlling down low is Nolan Vesey. Cleared up the left-hand side, and eventually it's Samorukov with control of the puck at center ice. Maximoff tries the right-hand side. Now you've got a hard hit by Healy on Esposito. Maximoff tried to follow up Jared Wilson, could not maintain the zone, and now bringing it the other way is Adam Ruzicka. Over the line, hard body check Samorukov. Ruzicka went right through him. Wrist shot, save made by Rodrigue. Rebound juggled. Wrist shot, score. Rodrigue could not control it, and it was just sitting there for D'Artagnan Jolie. And the 6th round pick of the Flames in 2017 deposits one into the empty net. That was a hard shot by Ruzicka. Rodrigue had a couple of chances to pounce on the rebound, and sneaking behind Jared Wilson was Jolie for a dead sitter. It's 2-0.
Well, Dmitry Samorukov and Kirill Maximoff were two guys that really excelled in Penticton last year, and they have had rookie tournaments that they'd like to forget. Maximoff has not had the same jump up front, and Samorukov's just simply tried to do too much. And turnovers will kill you, and he's had a tough first period here. He's been on the ice, and good prospect. Oilers signed player, 3rd round pick. They're going to need more of him moving forward.
Once again, Bob, you look at the shot clock in this game, and you look at the scoreboard, and it just doesn't match up. And I will say this, and I'd agree with you that you've got to tie up your man. Wilson certainly needed to account for where Jolie was, but that was a juicy rebound left in the slot.
Yep.
On a shot from Ruzicka that, while somewhat difficult, was not exactly a blazer. Flames bang it in deep, and Calgary goes to work here. Crevier Morin trying to dig it out off the half wall. And now you've got a 4-player pileup. Bear in the mix. Hovering close by is Tyler Vessel, and now Van Stralen. Now you've got total mayhem with 6 guys involved on a puck that's just stapled on that yellow kick plate right beneath the dasher boards. Finally it squirts free, and the Oilers look to tug it out of the zone. Bear does so to Vessel, and it's whacked off the boards, and here comes Evan Pola. Kicked it back to Vessel. In over the line, wrist shot over the glove of Parsons, but just a shade high, and cleared off the boards and out by Olis Matson. And now racing in from the right-hand side and controlling the puck is Mike McMurtry. He was sent toppling off balance and cleared with ease by Vessel. Banked off the wall right back to Zavgorodi, who scored a beautiful goal. 8 minutes into this hockey game to give Calgary a 1-0 lead. Jolie's score on the rebound has left it 2-0. Oilers reestablish control of the puck. Crevier Morin ahead to Gambardella. Now it's Ryan McLeod, left corner offensive zone. Wrist shot along the ice, save made by Parsons. And Hebig was there for the rebound, but it was scooted away from him and cleared by Dubé. Looked for a return pass as he flew toward the middle. Played it down on the ice, and that was driven home. A beautiful play by Dubé. Hand-eye coordination, and then absolutely ripped home. What a shot taken that time by the Dmitry Zavgorodi that scored the game's first goal. And that one was just in one motion. Zavgorodi able to find the range. Scored 26 times for Rimouski last year. And after a beautiful hand-eye job, and quite frankly, I thought Dubé might have played it with a high stick, but it sat right at Zavgarandy's feet, and in one motion he buried it.
They're going to have to talk to Samorukov. You're not going to get beat back behind the goal. Stay in front of the net. And last 2 goals, he's been behind the net, but give Dylan Dubé credit. And I got a comparable for you, Jack. A WHL player drafted out of the first round that's made an impact for an NHL team. Absolute driver right now. He plays in Tampa Bay. His name's Braden Point. And I'm not saying Dubé's there yet, but he's appearing to be that type of player, an undersized guy that can drive play. He's had an exceptional go here, successful in the Canadian World Junior program. I mean, he's been directly involved in 2 of the 3 goals.
And that one, again, at live speed, I thought that was close.
Yeah.
In terms of whether he played it with a high stick, but it was an athletic play regardless. And Zavgarandy showing the poise, Bob, and understanding that Rodrigue was no doubt surprised. He just rifled it home in one motion. Did not hesitate. Long shot off the draw to the Rodrigue's left, and that's covered up by goaltender Olivier Rodrigue without a rebound against Josh Healy. Time of the goal, 16-18. Zavgarandy's second and Calgary's third of this first period on 5 shots. McLeod will take the draw against Glenn Gaudin, and he wins it cleanly to Ethan Bear. Drop back behind the net for Marc-Olivier Crevier-Morin. Ahead to McLeod. Right wing Ethan Bear activating over the line against Healy. He'll play it into the corner. Tyler Yamamoto threw it behind the net, got it back, and then had it stripped by Healy. Less than 3 minutes to play here in the first period. Calgary up 3-0. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you live from Red Deer. Nice steal by Lagesson on a cross-ice pass for Calgary, but the threat dies when Yamamoto's double-teamed and coughs it up on the right side. Now it's Juuso Valimaki working off a check from Yamamoto, hits center ice and dumps it behind the Oiler defense. Last year down the stretch, a workhorse for Swift Current, led the Broncos to a Western Hockey League championship, and then he and the team seemed to run out of gas at the Memorial Cup. Josh Healy under control for Calgary in his own end as Edmonton falls back into a defensive posture. We've played 3 relatively uneventful minutes here in this third period. Final rookie game for both squads. Edmonton opens up the preseason at the Saddledome Monday at 7 as the Flames take another icing call. And we've had a real sputtering start to this third period. And we might as well set the schedule for you again. The Oilers open main camp at Rogers Place on Friday in Edmonton. Preseason opener next Monday at the Saddledome, 7 o'clock. Then the very next night will be in Vancouver for an 8:30 face-off. And a week from tomorrow, Edmonton plays its first home preseason game. That's on September the 20th, 7 o'clock, Rogers Place, and the opponent will be the Winnipeg Jets. Off the face-off, Oilers curl back into their own end. Dave Gust looking right side for Ryan McLeod. Skates into the puck, put it behind the net. Yamamoto bumped off course, but Gust was there to scoop it up. Crevier-Morin lines a drive into traffic, and that fell at the feet of McLeod. He'll maintain the zone for Gust. One-timer Bear off balance, kicked off a skate behind the net off the plexiglass. Yamamoto trying to hunt it down. Productive year last year in Spokane. 22 goals, 68 points for Yamamoto. And again, that was an injury-shortened campaign. Whipped around the boards, McLeod. From the right half wall, played back behind the net. McLeod kind of overskated the puck, and Calgary looked to clear. Couldn't get it out. McLeod, stutter step back behind the net. Kicked it out to the point. Broken up and chopped off the boards and brought up ice by Zach Fisher. Right circle, dishes off, and it was late getting the puck to Brett Pollock. Picked off, and an alert play once more, and then given right back by Kulovich. The steal by Pollock, the wrist shot, and that glanced off the shoulder of goaltender Stuart Skinner and flew high and wide. Off the glass, cleared by Gambardella. So Kulovich taketh away, and then he gave it. And Pollock could not finish. In from the right-hand side. Vessel able to pinwheel his way to the right corner. Game still tied at 3. 4.5 gone by, third period. Jack Bob and a sellout crowd of 7,000 packed into the NMAX Centrium in rainy Red Deer tonight. And I've heard whispers that there's snowflakes have fallen back in Sherwood Park in Edmonton. Here's Tyler Vessel. Tried to center. That was picked off. And you've got Dylan Dubé, who, as Bob has mentioned, has been brilliant. Dishing off Phillips. Back to Dubé, and that sailed between his legs. Zavgarandy, who has 2 goals tonight, couldn't catch up to it. It was lifted off the glass and safely back inside the Calgary blue line by Gambardella. Settled by Healy. Dropped off to Dubé with a head of steam. A wrist shot off the pads of Goaltender Stuart Skinner. Rebound flew into the corner for Matthew Phillips. From the right circle, centered, and a quick shot and a save made on Dubé by Skinner. And Dubé, when he kicked it back to Healy, that pass took a bobble and hopped over the stick blade of Josh Healy, but another superb shift turned in by Dylan Dubé. You're right, Bob. I mean, they've got a player there. Here's the lead pass, and Ruzicka's got a breakaway. Backhander, 5-hole score. And Calgary's back in front. Edmonton caught napping, and Ruzicka down the middle of the ice took a one-touch pass and tucked a backhander 5-hole to beat Stuart Skinner. And it's now 4-3 Calgary with 14:18 to play.
Adam Ruzicka scored 36 goals last season for Sarnia Sting, 4th-round pick in 2017. Jack, he looked like a goal scorer in that situation. They busted him free. Kirill Maximov was trailing on the play. He's a forward. And Ruzicka sifted one through the 5-hole on Skinner.
But the play there was the neutral zone one-touch to Ruzicka that created that breakaway opportunity. Beautiful look, and Calgary's back in front 4-3. A little less than 6 minutes having elapsed here in the third period. Off the center ice faceoff, Edmonton got it in deep. Samorukov could not maintain the zone. Calgary brings it the other way, and Samorukov actually picked off a pass at his own blue line and charges up ice with control, left corner centering pass, and that was there. But Van Stralen did not get a backhander cleanly off. Samorukov, a little offensive touch, had 34 points a year ago in the OHL. Defending back at his own end is Kulovich, and he'll deny Calgary entry. Phillips was the man with the pass to Ruzicka. And indeed, they announced it as Christensen, but he's not in the game tonight, so I assume it was 47 and not 57.
Yep.
So Matthew Phillips with a beautiful look. He had a 48-goal season last year after scoring 50 the year prior for the Victoria Royals. And that combination works for the go-ahead goal. Zach Fisher enters the zone. Long slap shot. Easy glove save made by Skinner. Rebound advanced by Yamamoto to center. Lagesson jumps up in the play as the Oilers attack from right to left. It's turned over at the Calgary line. And once more, it's Dylan Dubé on the ice. Backhands it in deep. They'll wave off any sort of icing. Edmonton has an opportunity to regroup, and it's Yamamoto moving it to the swift McLeod. Ahead to Lagesson. Back to McLeod. Wrist shot and a save made by McDonald. Yamamoto on the rebound. Fell down. Otherwise, he had an empty net for a wraparound. He just fell down. Caught an edge. And a clear for Josh Healy. McMurtry. Left side. Dubé scampering up ice. Dishes off. Shot by Bahal, and that was blocked. And the Oilers come the other way, and Bahal raced back to center immediately. Bob did not want to get caught as he was in the second period after fanning on his own attempt. Olis Madsen re-enters the zone with a wrist shot along the ice. Skinner flicked that one aside. Lagesson on the rebound for the Oiler rookies, who trail 4-3 here with 12 minutes to play. Lagesson could not get it out. Dubé cuts inside. Ethan Baird chopped him off the puck. Hunting it down initially was McMurtry, but he couldn't find it cleanly, and it was advanced to Vessel for Edmonton. Down the right side of the ice comes Gambardella. He's checked by Olis Madsen, and the puck loose in the far corner. Vessel offers support, and you've got four players piled up in the far corner. Edmonton trailing 4-3. On the ice comes Kirill Maximov to offer support. Gambardella swung it to the point. Crevier Morin over to Jared Wilson. He'll move it along the left-hand boards, cut off by Valimaki, and the Flames will carefully spoon it inside the Edmonton blue line and get a change. Maximov collects the puck for Edmonton, weaving his way through two men, and at center ice with a head of steam. Tried to sneak into the high slot for Colin Larkin. That was broken up. Brett Pollock for the Flames on his backhand to center ice, and Merezhkov has it deflect off his stick and hurtle out of play with 11:03 to go in the third period. 4-3 our score in favor of Calgary.
8-1 the shots on goal here for the Flames rookies. They've turned it up. And the Oilers have run out of a little bit of gas, I think, other than the one line that's created all game long, 5-on-5, and it should, because it's got two very good Oiler prospects. Ryan McLeod, his speed, Jack, and he just He's able to separate. He's a burner.
You think the extra game a factor tonight for Edmonton, having played the night before? Calgary playing only the 2 rookie games?
Not really.
Well, you said fatigue-wise, so that's why I was asking.
No, they lacked a little. I just think it's jump. I think the Oilers maybe push it early to try to get back in this game, and Calgary stepped it up a notch here. The Oilers are going to have to match it.
Oilers rallied from a 3-0 deficit late in the first period, got 1 at the end of the opening frame and 2 in the second. But Calgary's come out and broken the 3-3 tie here in the third period. Up the left-hand side, it's Gaudin. He's cut off at the Oiler blue line by Ethan Bear. Yamamoto got hung up with Merrick Rippon. And the Flames, in their own end, fire a pass up the left-hand side, and Gaudin didn't get a touch, and kind of an unforced error that time. Hard pass, and Merejko knows it. 10:19 to play, third period. The faceoff will come back into the Calgary zone. Calgary has now outshot Edmonton 23-21 for the night by virtue of that 8-1 margin that Bob indicated as far as what we've seen in the first 9 minutes and 41 seconds of this final period.
I don't know how hard the Oilers rookies got pushed, Jack, last night. That's why I'm not necessarily saying it's a case of the 3 games in the 4 days, but
Esposito to Wilson, a shot that was knocked down. Chance for Esposito on the rebound, and McDonald slid across to make sure there was no equalizer on that sequence. Lagesson back to Esposito, stutter step, fires, block shot for Rippon, and it was twisted up the left-hand glass and down the ice, and icing will be negated by the fact that reaching the puck is Glenn Gaudin. He's down the ice first. Jared Wilson and Evan Poli ushered him off the puck, and it's Poli who scored the equalizer late in the second period for Edmonton with a little give and go courtesy of William Lagesson. And now Poli chugs his way in. Erased on a hard hit from Josh Healy, who, like Dave Gust of Edmonton, played his collegiate hockey at Ohio State. Poli knocked down an outlet pass from Ruzicka, who moments ago scored the tie-breaking goal, but now we're going to have a penalty whistled against Edmonton. Delayed call coming with 9:20 to play in regulation. And with the puck is Pahal. He'll bring it to center. Down the middle of the ice, Dubé to the net. Wrist shot, and he just missed glove side. Boy, every time he's on the ice, he's either getting a chance himself or creating one for his teammates. Will step aside, and who knows, this might be the best way for Edmonton to get its mojo back, and that's on the penalty kill. They've been excellent tonight, erasing 3 Calgary power plays easily. They're going to have to erase a 4-3 deficit down the stretch. We're live in Red Deer with Oiler Hockey on 630 CHED. The play in regulation, Calgary on the power play with a 4-3 lead off the face-off, won by Edmonton. Ethan Bear is able to clear down the ice, and that's been instrumental tonight in the Oilers' 3 prior successful brick penalty kills, and that's winning that first face-off head-to-head against Calgary on the power play. Esposito out there with Gambardella, Crevier, Morin, and Bear. Racing in is Zavgarodny. He's got 2 goals tonight for Calgary. Build a 3-0 lead late in the first period. Edmonton got 1 late in the first, 2 in the second. The second of which scored by Evan Poli to tie the game at 3 entering the final period. But Ruzicka on a feed from Phillips has scored on a breakaway to make it 4-3. And now a puck down the middle of the ice, juggled away by Pollock. And he has missed some chances, Bob. I mean, he's had 2 or 3 outlet passes right on his tape that he's either fumbled away or missed altogether. And Skinner flops on it, but that should have been a breakaway for Brett Pollock. He's wasted some real chances tonight.
Well, he was a consistent 30-goal scorer in the Western Hockey League, but it's a step up in weight class. Spent some time at ECHL first pro year, sort of established himself as an AHLer last year, but he has not been a dominator in these 2 games, despite picking up a couple goals the other day.
Originally a second-round pick of the Dallas Stars in 2014. Off the face-off, another Edmonton win and another clear by the Oiler rookies. Down the right-hand side, Phillips, who can fly, has speed to the middle of the ice, saves Skinner, rebound, score. Glenn Gaudin on a sitter beneath the hash marks, pumps home the rebound, and it's 5-3. There was a delayed penalty coming against Edmonton. It won't matter. Calgary, a power play goal at 12:02. It was Phillips' speed that created the chance, and Glenn Gaudin polished it off.
Yeah, well, Flames attacked, and they were able to split the seam off the rush on the zone entry, and then Godden's a guy that's got some finish, as proven by those numbers last year in Swift Current. Right place, right time, to be able to play effectively.
Well, it's Phillips' playmaking ability that created the breakaway for Ruzicka. At that time, that goal was created, and yeah, I mean, he polished it off, Bob, but that was just a dead duck sitting in there. Actually, give credit to Milos Roman. I think he was the one who knocked it off the pads of Skinner after Phillips had taken it hard to the hole.
Jack, the Oilers still...
they're still shorthanded. So it's a power play goal for Calgary and another penalty incurred. So Gaudin gets the goal, and now the Flames remain on the power play, still with a 5-3 lead. So we've talked about how at times Gaudin has been pretty quiet. That being said, he's got goals in both games against the Oilers rookies, and Calgary seemingly back in command in this game. 5-3, it's Phillips off the center ice draw, taking it down low. Right corner, the penalty is to Jared Wilson. He's in the box for the Oilers. Flames have had 5 power plays tonight. Oilers just 1. Here's Ruzicka coming out of the right-hand corner. Out to Valimaki. His shot deflected away from Stuart Skinner and winds up in the corner where Phillips will track it down. Left point, another shot. Valimaki tipped and a save by Skinner, who stayed square and covers with no rebound. 7:11 remaining final period and $1:13 left in this latest brick penalty kill. But the Oilers, even if they kill this one off, they're going to be down to 6 minutes left and still down by 2. You work so hard to get back in the game, Bob, and this is where you start also looking at the lineup. And I know Fu and Mangiapane aren't in there for Calgary, but Edmonton, in my mind, is missing the 3 players who've played the best hockey we've seen in the rookie camp this far, and that's Jones, Benson, and Evan Bouchard. Off the draw, hard hit right in front of the Oiler bench by Ethan Bear. Shook the puck free from Adam Olis-Madsen, but the Flames did well to hold it in. It didn't last, however. Colin Larkin with a clear, and Vesey, who can skate pretty well, gets down the ice and pins the puck against the boards, and Adam Olis-Madsen. Larkin comes over with token support, and the Calgary power play dwindles to 45 seconds. In over the line is Dubé. Zavgorandi gave it away. Lagesson, in turn, gave it up to Pollock. And now a quick shot. Zavgorandi had it tipped away by Lagesson. Rebound comes to McMurtry. From the left corner, he'll spin it off the boards. Olis-Madsen moves it over for Dubé. Top of the right circle, curls it back off the boards. Olis-Madsen. Dubé, right face-off dot. Inside Zavgorandi. Backhander, flicked aside by Skinner. Rebound McMurtry. Zavgorandi. One-timer, Pollock score. Second power play goal of the period for Calgary. It's now 6-3 with 6:09 to go.
Matt Pollock found himself a soft spot there on the power play and ripped one home on the one-timer, but effective puck movement from the Flames rookies. And that one got through Stuart Skinner, who's had a frustrating couple games here. I think it needs to be stated. Gave up 4 on 13 shots Sunday afternoon in Calgary. Has come in here.
Shots are 14-2 in this third period, though, Bob. He's not getting a ton of support.
Flames have had another gear.
The last couple have been on the power play. It's a 3-point night for Zavgorandi with the feed inside to Brett Pollock. And it's a 6-3 game. So the Flames scored the first 3, and now they've gotten the last 3 in this contest. And they've scored 13 times against the Oilers in 2 matchups. In over the line, down the left-hand side. Vessel trying to find the puck. It's in the high slot, and Gambardella will flick it behind Josh Healy. He'll reel it in himself, try a backhander along the ice, and Mason McDonald makes the save. Just the third he's had to stop here in this period. Left corner, it's Ryan McLeod. Inadvertently brought it outside the zone, and Edmonton will have to reset. 6-3 our score, final 5 1/4. Up to center, a hard hit on Dave Gust, and he's a little stung right now, Bob. He'll get up, but he's a bit shaky.
That one got a bite out of him.
Flames up the left wing boards, defending McLeod right at center ice. Tried to chip it ahead for Yamamoto, unsuccessful in that endeavor. And it's brought in by Calgary. Sent behind the net by Ellis. Skinner played it along to Crevier Morin, and now Yamamoto won't get there. Rippon did and sent it back inside the Edmonton line. Bear threw it across to Lagesson. Rink wide, Luke Esposito charges hard. Down the right side. Checked by Rippon. Stays strong on the puck. And now Marejko comes over to try to bump it off his stick. Van Stralen offered support. Esposito got right back in there against Marejko. Turned over by Roman. Loose in the slot. Polai couldn't find it. Matthew Phillips did. He's like a water bug out there. He can really fly. Down the right-hand side, Lagesson shakes off some traffic. Wouldn't mind seeing Phillips and McLeod go toe-to-toe. Exceptional skaters, both of them. Van Stralen a little errant with his pass across to Lagesson right point, and now with 4 minutes to go, the Oilers have to fall back. They'll get a change. Trailing 6-3, it's Lagesson with an outlet to Jared Wilson. 2 power play goals have put this one out of reach for the Calgary rookies. And Edmonton's going to lose both of these rookie matchups. Up the left-hand side, Zach Fisher punished by a hard hit from Kulovich, and that created a chance for Nolan Vesey to come up with a puck. Kulovich right side for Colin Larkin. Centering as he came over the line for Maximoff. That was broken up. Flames play it back to center ice, and it's Ellies making sure to get it deep with 3:20 on the game clock. In the shots now 14-3 in this final period. Flames have broken open a 3-3 tie after 40 with 3 goals against Stuart Skinner on in relief of Olivier Rodrigue. Dump in by Edmonton. Played up the left-hand side by Pahal. And now Maximoff able to cut him off at the Oiler blue line. Samoruk off the outlet is an errant one, and that'll turn into an icing call against Edmonton with 2:59 to play in this third period. 6-3 Calgary as we come down the stretch, Bob. Final lasting impressions here of what we've seen with 3 rookie games in 4 days.
I like a lot of what we've seen out of Ryan McLeod. I think a strong argument to be made through the first couple of games. The best 3 players didn't play tonight for Edmonton. Evan Bouchard, Caleb Jones on defense, and Tyler Benson up front.
Ethan Bear off the glass and back to center. Flames look to hunt that puck near the red line. And it's driven up for Phillips. He'll scoop it behind the Oiler defense. Ethan Bear back behind his own net up the right-hand side for Vessel. Back toward the middle of the ice. Kicked around. Bear, right side Vessel. 2.5 to go. Oilers trail 3. Vessel wrapped up with Rippon. No penalty called. Gaudin will backhand it up the boards, but it's cut off by Hebig. Scored a beautiful goal earlier in this game. Gets it back right circle. Hard wrist shot. Save Mason McDonald. Rebound cleared by the Flames. I'd also suspect, judging or kind of reading between the lines from some of your comments, that Yamamoto and Bear will want to find another gear as they head into main camp.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
In over the line, Esposito with a backhander from long range, top of the circles. This one stopped by McDonald. You'll recall Esposito scored on a spinning backhander off the rush back in the first period to get the Edmonton Oilers on the board in this game. 2:06 left third period. 6-3 Flames over the Oilers. Face-off win. Dubé up the left-hand side. Turned over. Van Stralen tried a shot. That was blocked. Zavgarodny will bring it up through center. Weave his way in over the blue line. And now tried to kick it back to Adam Ollis-Mattsson. Polai picked it off. And he'll send it deep left corner. Wondering whether Polai has earned himself an NHL preseason game. I think he's played hard in this camp in terms of looking at off-the-radar guys.
He has a dimension that you might want to have him dressed early in one of those preseason games.
Zavgarodny, right side, in over the line, McMurtry, but a late-off side call will whistle the play down. Minute 32 to go, third period, and the Flames have put this one out of reach. Of course, Calgary will play host to Edmonton in the Oilers' first NHL preseason game. That'll be played on Monday night at the Saddledome, 7 o'clock. And then next Tuesday, one night after that game, the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks will get together at Rogers Arena in Vancouver. We'll have it for you at 8:30 face-off. And as we talked about earlier, the first Oiler home preseason game a week from tomorrow, 7 o'clock, Rogers Place against the Winnipeg Jets, who went all the way to the Western Conference final last year before being beaten by Vegas. Up through center, shot in by Kulovich, and now the Oilers play the final minute 20 here in the offensive zone. Trying to get on the board one more time here. They've been outshot 29-25 tonight. Again, the majority of that coming in the third period where Calgary found another gear. Ruzicka, who scored the tie-breaking goal on a breakaway created by a one-touch outlet from Phillips, able to clear up the right-hand side. Samorukov with a minute to go in the third period. Advanced as far as the Calgary blue line, but that's all. Dave Gust will lob it off the glass and back deep into the Calgary zone. Goaltender Mason McDonald will drop it off. Outlet up the left-hand side. Getting a smart touch on that was Rippon. He'll peel off on a change. And now Calgary in on the forecheck with 35 seconds left. Golfed inadvertently out of play. That looks like a delay of game call coming against Edmonton. Vessel on the far side just got it up on the heel of a stick and threw it out of play. And Calgary will get one final power play here with 34 seconds to go. 6-3 our score. And a face-off coming to the right of Stuart Skinner. And you've said it, Bobby, has not had the best timing. No. Faced some tough chances against on Sunday. And tonight, arriving in the third period, all of a sudden the Oilers gave up nearly as many shots in the first 12 minutes of this third period, Bob, as they did in the first 40 minutes tonight.
Which maybe does speak to a bit of fatigue. A little bit more travel for the Oilers rookies as well, but
a fair amount of guys playing the second of a back-to-back. Yep. But as you said, not a ton of energy exerted last night. Off the draw, Oilers able to win it. Brick penalty kill. Finally gave way with a couple of power play goals in this third period, icing this one for Calgary. Final 15 seconds now. Flames biding their time. Rippon left-hand side. Elise can't get started, and Esposito will deliver one final clear, and that'll be all for the Oiler rookie games against Calgary. A 7-3 loss on Sunday and a 6-3 final tonight, both in favor of the Calgary Flames. Skinner finishes his night's work with 11 saves on 14 shots for Edmonton goals. Esposito, Hebig, and Polai, and now it's on to NHL preseason, Bob.
Yeah, well, you said it late. I mean, if you're a rookie like Kyler Yamamoto or Ethan Bear, you know you're going to get some preseason games. Some others are trying to earn that. And you got a guy, as an example, like Evan Polai, that's trying to get himself at least one of those two games, be it against Calgary or against the Vancouver Canucks rookies. Strong showing tonight from Ryan McLeod. Yamamoto and Bear are going to want to elevate. Bouchard, Jones, and Benson, they were the best Oilers in the first two games, and they were missed tonight.
Edmonton fell behind 3-0 early.